Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Caden Kubler and welcome to Caden's Corner. The 49ers have started 1-2 in what people are calling a Super Bowl slump. Things have been very bumpy for this team since their loss in overtime against the Chiefs. They had all of the drama this offseason with Trent Williams and Brandon Ayuk both holding out. Then their star first-round wide receiver Ricky Pearsall would get shot in a freak accident in a robbery. And now Purdy and the 49ers have started 1-2 and everybody is freaking out and hitting the panic button. After their Week 1 win, the Niners have lost 2 consecutive games. They went on the road against a hot Minnesota team and dropped a game there, and then they played a hospital Rams team on the road and have lost 2 straight games in a very concerning fashion. Now, how much panic should be on this 49ers team only 3 weeks into the season? Now, first of all, coming into this year, there were such high hopes for this 49ers team. Even though Williams and Ayuk both held out, they were just in the Super Bowl and went into overtime against Patrick Mahomes. They didn't lose anybody big in free agency, they added in the draft, and seemingly had a better version of the team last year. Well, we're only 3 weeks into the year, and the 49ers are already one of the most banged up teams in the entire league. Now, we'll start with the best running back in the NFL in Christian McCaffrey that has yet to see the field this season. Before the season started, he suffered a calf injury that held him out Week 1. The 49ers would eventually put him on IR, and he's expected to miss about half of the season right now. But there wasn't too much concern, as in his absence in Week 1, his backup running back Jordan Mason absolutely lit it up against this Jets defense. But things would get worse for the Niners. After their Week 2 loss, both Deebo Samuel and George Kittle would both go down and be ruled out for Week 3. Now, no matter what team you're playing, losing 3 all-pro offensive players hurts your team a lot. Not to mention Brandon Ayuk, who held in the entire offseason, has been super rusty coming into this year. He has yet to crack 50 yards, and this offense has just been super discombobulated. So 3 weeks into the year, this has been a very unideal start to the season and circumstances for this 49ers team, but I don't think it's any reason to panic. It's so funny how the media and fans can switch up on a week-to-week basis. Just after Week 1, everybody was crowning the 49ers as kings of the NFC after they ran through the Jets. But they lose 2 straight games after not having 3 all-pro players play, and now everybody's hitting the panic button. In Week 1, they absolutely decimated the Jets at home, and I think most people would consider New York a legitimate Super Bowl contender. The Jets had one of the best defenses in the NFL that was returning into this year, and the 49ers made it look average. They ran the ball all over him with Jordan Mason. Brock Purdy was able to get whatever he wanted on the outside, and the Jets looked ordinary. And then in Week 2, they go on the road against the Vikings, who are playing some amazing football right now. They might be the hottest team in the NFL. 3-0, Sam Darnold has seemingly revitalized his career. So I wasn't overreacting too much at this loss. I think the Vikings are a legit team this year. And I'm not going to give them an excuse for losing this Rams game, because even though they had 3 all-pro offensive players go down, the 49ers still should have won this game. But I think with all the injuries and negatives with the 49ers, we need to focus on the green flags that we've been seeing. Let's start with none other than Mr. Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy in this Week 3 loss played his tail off. He threw for nearly 300 passing yards on a 73% completion percentage and threw for 3 touchdowns. But the national narrative is that Brock Purdy is only a good quarterback because of his weapons. No Christian McCaffrey, no George Kittle, no Deebo Samuel, and Brandon Ayuk, who's been virtually irrelevant this entire season. But Brock Purdy still goes out there and cooks. And one of the reasons why I was so excited about Brock Purdy coming into this year is because he finally got a full offseason with the team. As a rookie, he didn't get any first-team reps because he was fighting to even make the roster as the last pick in the draft. And then coming into last year, he didn't get a full offseason because he had the UCL tear in the NFC Championship against the Eagles. So after this Super Bowl loss, Brock Purdy finally got an entire offseason with his guys. And I really think it's been showing. Brock Purdy has been playing at a very high level. Now, I know we're only 3 weeks into the year and it's early, but Brock Purdy is on pace to potentially flirt with 5,000 passing yards and 30 touchdowns. But like I mentioned, this offense is going to continue to get better with Purdy's early success. George Kittle and Deebo Samuel are both questioned for this week and trending in the right direction, and they'll also get their first-round rookie wide receiver Ricky Pearsall back soon. Now, there's not an official timetable on when McCaffrey McCaffrey will return, but he'll be eligible to come back week 6 against the Seahawks, but I think right now he's trending on missing about half of the season. And I'm not expecting Brandon Ayuk to be in this slump for the entire year. He's going to shake off the rust at some point and come back to his elite self. And shout out to Jawan Jennings stepping up when everybody went down, having 3 receiving touchdowns, 100 receiving yards, and balling out for this 49ers squad. I can't even imagine how nasty this offense is going to be once all of these pieces come together and they're humming at the end of the year. So I know that they're 1-2, and this is quite the unideal start, but nobody should be panicking on the 49ers. Remember last year when the 49ers looked like one of the best teams in the NFL at the beginning of the year, but they would get banged up, lose 3 straight games, and everybody started to freak out. But they got healthy, regrouped, and got back on the winning track and made it all the way back to the Super Bowl. We're witnessing an early slump from a championship caliber team that's also banged up. But make no mistake about it, the San Francisco 49ers are still the favorite to win this wide open NFC conference. The Lions haven't exactly looked solid this year. The Vikings are hot right now, but it's a long season. I think this Eagles defense still has a lot to prove, even though they just picked up a big win against the Saints. Dallas will be Dallas after they've lost 2 big games in a row, and we still need to evaluate the Packers once Jordan Love gets healthy. So stop panicking on this 49ers team so early into the year. They will be just fine and get back to the Super Bowl. I'm Caden Kubler, and that's my take.